Yo, what's up, everybody? I finally got it to work. Welcome to this brand new live episode of a Game Time here on the Game Time channel. I was having a lot of camera issues before we started the show, so I apologize to everybody. And it finally kicked in, and it's working now here in my office. So I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined by that man every Monday. Mama, here go that man, Winston A. Marshall. How are you, Winston?
Like, that's how I feel, bro. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, look, he is one of the greatest ball players of the last, 10 years. Like, let's not pretend that he's not out in these streets as a top 10 player.
He is.
Luka needed help, but at what cost, bro? Like, at what cost? I feel like $1,000 pair of Yeezys were just sitting around for like $50. And it's like,
yeah, but why?
At what cost? I mean, those shoes are also ugly. That's a terrible analogy because them shoes is ugly. But we'll get into it, man. I think the worst part was the sheer number of texts that I came back to of like, yo, either like fuck you or also good for you or also good luck. You know what I mean? Like
who told you good for you? I want to meet that person. What is wrong with you?
Well,
are you insane?
In the same way that LeBron is upset that he didn't get Kyrie. Like again, if you look at it from the terms of just what he does as a ball player when he's playing, those are the people that are like good for you, because a lot of people just love to shut out the nonsense and just focus on the game. So anyway,
I think Winston said something there that is very prescient for what our conversation is going to be about. When he's playing, he's great. When he's playing, and that's the thing you got to look at when we're going to break down this whole situation. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a very heavy. Kyrie Irving got traded to the Dallas Mavericks show, so strap in, get yourself a beer, get a drink, whatever you need to do.
I feel like I need one. like if I wasn't on my health tip right now, bro, I'm like out here counting my macros and shit. I would be doing that right now.
Are you counting your macaroni? What'd you say?
Macros, my macros, as in like the things that are coming in and going out of my body, and specifically how much protein, how much sugar, how much etc.
Listen to this motherfucker over here. Wow,
look, bitch, we all can't be out here with a gut all goddamn life. Sometimes we gotta do better.
I get it. You trying to stay alive. I respect it. Bitch,
I'm not about to die. I just don't want to be fat no more. Like, damn.
I like that. That should be the show. That should be the fitness program. When you don't want to be fat no more, here comes the workout for you. But yeah, we are jumping into so much here today. The Kyrie Irving trade absolutely exploded the NBA. And look, the cynical part of me is like, of course this drops on the one Sunday before this, when there's no NFL, it drops on the Sunday to kind of consume the conversations that people are having. And certainly Stephen A. Smith and Jay Williams going at each other on ESPN was really funny about Kyrie Irving. I'm really surprised at how many people defend Kyrie Irving, who has essentially gone to multiple franchises and just set them on fire the whole time he's been there. Yes, he won the title with Cleveland, but there was always that issue like, it's my team, not LeBron's team. It's my team. He's winning because of me. And sure enough, Kyrie hitting that three-pointer was certainly important in that critical moment in Game 7 against the Warriors. They would not have a title without Kyrie's three in Steph's face. So you got to give credit where credit is due. But then eventually, LeBron moves on because that the issues between them were going on, moves on. Kyrie eventually gets traded to the Celtics because he wants to get out of the situation. He blows it up, sets it all on fire in the Celtics, plays well, gets in the playoffs, but, there's kind of in and out. How much does he really care? Then talks his way to the Nets to join Kevin Durant, and then eventually James Harden, and he implodes it all there. A, with injuries, and B, with the COVID situation. And then, of course, this year with the anti-Semitic stuff, and he was tweeting out flat earth stuff like 2 weeks ago. So he was back on it, maybe feeling he was ready for the trade, and then eventually forced the Brooklyn Nets to trade him. And now he's with Dallas. I don't know how anybody can have any faith that this is going to work out. But on paper, this is a fantastic offensive-minded backcourt, Winston. Take me through your reactions as you heard the news that Kyrie Irving was traded to you all. and you started to glimpse what Luka and Kyrie might be, and the fear that they might explode.
Okay, there's a lot here because on the one hand, it was one of those things watching Kyrie for years.
Yeah.
And specifically watching Kyrie, like when he was with the Cavs and LeBron came back and they went on those runs.
Yeah.
Just being like, God damn, this dude is so good. And he's always tends to be on the team that I don't like. So like, you know, he would be out here and be like balling on a team that I'm rooting for.
Right.
Because like I like the Warriors. And so when it's the Cavs Warriors over and over again, I'm like anti-Kyrie. And if it's, you know, the Celtics, I don't like the Celtics. So I'm anti-Kyrie. And then he goes to the Nets and it's like, while they would have been fun to root for, they've been a dumpster fire this entire time.
Yeah,
so
absolutely a dumpster fire. Yeah.
So that's just from the standpoint of as a basketball fan and observer. Yeah. I understand how incredibly fucking talented he is.
Yeah.
And so like the idea of him as a player, just purely on the court for my team is mind-boggling. That's the type of thing that you're like, holy shit, please Jesus, yes.
Yeah.
But again, like anything else in life, this is not a black and white issue.
Yeah.
This is a situation. I mean, I guess it sort of is a black and white issue, but you know what I mean? I mean that in the sense that everything associated with Kyrie that is not on the court is a dumpster fire, including, let's take his comments out of it just for a second.
Okay.
The fact that his injuries and or just disappearing and deciding to not play and how much that shit happened with the Nets over and over and over again is already a giant like red flag and a scare of what's coming. But that doesn't then you get to the meat and potatoes of why he's a problem.
Right.
Flat earther, anti-vaxxer, anti-Semitic, whether or not he's really kind of come back off of that ledge somewhat based off of everything that was going on. But I just, there is so much. It's the same way that right now, let's say Aaron Rodgers was still peak Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Would I want him on the Cowboys? That's another type of situation where I'm like, fuck, because just from a player standpoint, you're like, dope. But I hate everything else about who you are off the field.
Yeah.
And that's the issue, is that I just genuinely, I don't hate Kyrie.
No.
But I don't like what he is constantly drumming up, especially because there's a phrase that black people use sometimes, that specifically
teach me
when you're never going to be able to repeat it. But we talk about this typically with dudes that be smoking too much weed, because this is when this comes out of them. We call them smart dumb niggas. And essentially what that is this idea where he thinks he's being otherworldly and like, yo, think about it, dog. Like, you know, the planet though. Yeah. We've been told it's round and whatnot. But what if you think about it? Like we talk about plains and the rolling plains of Kansas. Clearly we flat because plain means flat. You see what I'm saying? Flat earth. Like that, it's that random shit where like you watch one or two YouTube videos and all of a sudden you think you're a goddamn astrophysicist and philosopher at the same time. And so that's the problem. He's a smart dumb nigga, because then when I compare him to somebody like, say, Colin Kaepernick, the difference there is Colin may have said one or two little things here and there, but his message stayed clear, and it was based off of things that were like actually there and in front of you. And anybody that ever tried to like blaspheme that message, it was like, no. He made it real fucking clear what this is about. Yeah. This is purely police brutality is out of hands. The police need to be handled. Police reform needs to happen for black folk. Black Lives Matter. That's it. And then the whole kneeling thing, again, people wanted to twist those fucking words, but he made it very, very clear. This is just my silent protest. I'm not hurting nobody. I'm like, and this is no disrespect. I started kneeling instead of sitting because I talked to a military professional and they said that would be more respectful because you kneel for when you're falling. So you know what I'm saying? Kaepernick is actually an intelligent dude that is like doing his thing but that's not, Kyrie hasn't once given me a source for any of his shit that I said, wow, dude, that's really intelligent. It's always conspiracy theory, Illuminati bullshit. So God damn it.
And look, we have to say this, and this is, well, I mean, I guess for people who are maybe catching up on this story, let me give you the full details of the trade here for everybody who maybe doesn't know here. The Mavericks get Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris. Low-key, a good pickup, I think, Markieff Morris. The Nets get Spencer Dinwiddie, who some of you may remember had some of the best years of his career in Brooklyn playing for the Nets. Dorian Finney-Smith, who's been a fantastic defender for you guys on the perimeter, guarding some of the more quicker point guards, some of the more tougher point guards in the league. Dorian Finney-Smith's been fantastic there. The Nets also get the Mavs 2029 first-round pick, the 2027 second-round pick, and a 2029 second-round pick as well for all of this. And look, they weren't the only team in the conversation. Certainly the Lakers were going to get to that. The Clippers were sniffing around this thing, and the Phoenix Suns, from a number of sources here, from the Athletic and Shams and Woj, talking about what was offered, which we're going to get into as well a little bit later on. But yeah, that's the trade. That's the official trade. He apparently is getting his physical today, and he will be making his debut in what is currently Winston's hometown in LA on Wednesday night against the Clippers.
Bitch, I gotta go to this game. Fuck, I gotta call my cousin who's supposed to give me tickets. I gotta go to this fucking game.
You've got to go to this game. It is
I have to go. I have to go.
I reached out to my friend who's a season ticket holder, and I was like, any way I can talk you into this. And he's like, no, bro. As soon as we heard the news, I had 10 people reach out to me and offer me a lot of money to get my second ticket. I was like, all right, totally fair. But yeah, that's going to be the situation here. And I think you make an excellent point here about Kyrie Winston and his situation in terms of his abilities here coming back this year. I mean, you could argue right now the Nets were playing some of the best basketball they had played over the last few weeks, and were making it. Yeah, Kevin Durant had been hurt, so they were kind of uneven with Kyrie leading the team. But before Kevin Durant had gotten the recent injury, they were looking good and on the ascendancy. Kyrie is averaging 27 points, 7-point rebounds, and 3.2 assists this year, and went to the All-Star game, again, representing the East. Is going to be, earned his second trip to the NBA All-Star game. So just kind of crazy to see what could be happening here with this team. And I'm just like, I'm so like in my mind of like, well, is this going to work? Because you gave away a defensive guy. Are you going to pick up more pieces to help out on the defensive side of things? Because offensively with Luka and Kyrie, you might be settled. What do you think about that?
That worries me too, just because obviously even with Finney-Smith helping us defensively, Luka still had to average goddamn 40 points a game for us to be where we're at. So the other thing that I'm curious about is they're both on the ball players. This isn't like a Steph with a Clay. This isn't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
This isn't a situation where, like with LeBron, while even though he was the point guard, he was happy to defer to Kyrie on that, because that let him get some energy to go play harder defense. It also allowed him to make different opportunities for himself. But to that point, I do think that that's where you're really looking at this, and you've gone the idea of typically they'll call that, like in like fighting, they would call that like a berserker style. The idea of like, let me get the maximum amount of damage in here and defense be damned. And it's not to say that Kyrie doesn't play defense. He plays great defense, but like he's not Finney-Smith was doing some shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I think what this is really going to come down to, I don't think there's going to be a problem sharing the ball with the two of them. Because I think, truthfully, while Luka loves cooking, and I'm sure Luka is out here in these streets being like, I would love to go past Kobe's 81 point. And he's the type of dude that could.
Yes.
You know what I bet he would prefer more? To not have to put up that many points, that he could rest more. Like I almost thought maybe you pull one of them off the bench, but I think that's stupid. I think you do need to allow them to work together like that. But then you just maybe alternate once the game's gotten started. You alternate who's resting at what time and who stays on the court. You know,
I think you're definitely going to see Kyrie get more minutes with the second unit than Luka was getting. So that gives Luka a little bit of a break. I think you're going to see Kyrie do that. Kyrie having, been playing a number of minutes, but not needing to have the usage rate that Luka does, this allows Luka to rest for a little bit while you having an offensive guy on the floor like Kyrie Irving. So I think that's how they're going to do it for sure, to give him some time. But look, you had Brunson last year, man. He was essentially Kyrie light, and he is killing it over in New York. Arguably, if you look at the stats, comparable, not exactly, but comparable to what Kyrie was doing. So you had that without the drama, and you kind of overperformed last year in the playoffs. Do we think this is this the extra thing? Like, do you think that, I mean, we already saw how it works. So do you think it really will lead to more for these Mavericks? I mean, Luka was still being used at a high usage rate with Jalen Brunson on the court.
No, and I understand that, but that's the thing. Brunson, you just said it. Brunson is Luka light, bro.
Kyrie
like he was, sorry, Kyrie light. That's what I meant. I mean, you're essentially, if Brunson was decaf coffee, bro, and Kyrie is a double shot of espresso. It's not that Brunson's not good. Brunson is mad good. I was sad to see him go, but like, let's be serious here. Even if Kyrie retired today, he's a Hall of Famer. Brunson is not necessarily a Hall of Famer. He's very good, and I would not be surprised if he ends up with a few All-Star trips before his career's out.
Yeah.
He's not a Hall of Famer. Kyrie is already a Hall of Famer. He is considered arguably, and this is controversial to some, but not all, the best ball handler we have ever seen in the NBA.
Wow.
And like the only person that comes to mind that people might go, well, hold your horses, is AI.
Yeah.
And we used to talk about how AI being the answer, bro. Like he just what is the answer to getting past 4 defenders by yourself? The handles that AI has, and Kyrie is almost the 2.0 version of that. So like I think in that regard it's fine. But again, how many games is Kyrie gonna miss because of injury? How many games is Kyrie gonna miss because of personal stuff that he's not telling anybody about? How many games is Kyrie gonna miss because he's running his mouth on something that gets him suspended again? Those are the real problems that you have to look at and go, I guess Cuban is a very successful businessman. You want to talk about high risk management. I guess this is a situation where he has done his due diligence. He's thought about it. And he's like, it's worth, if I only get the last half of this year out of it and we somehow pull a chip out of it, great. But it also feels like while we liked Brunson, you drop the dollars, it feels like, on the person that takes you to that upper echelon. You're going to drop the dollars on Luka when it's time, and you drop the dollars on a Kyrie if you can get him to act normal act chill enough to get through the thing. So it's a lot. But real quick, I brought up a tweet that I wanted to share that pretty much explained how I felt. Kyrie Irving, when he finds out that Mark Cuban is Jewish and not Cuban.
Oh shit!
which was a meme, you know, back when Blurred was around. We used to play that shit all the time, but it's the fucking truth. Like I didn't even put 2 and 2 together, but it's kind of like, I didn't even really think about it. I never thought Mark Cuban was Cuban, but I just didn't think he was Jewish. It just didn't like cross my mind. But that was fucking hilarious, because when I say a smart dumb nigga, that's some shit be like, oh yeah, Mark Cuban, man. I love everything y'all got going down in that country down there, man. Them cigars is lit. It's a great vacation spot. You know what I mean? Rep your people, the Cubans. And he's like, bitch, I'm Jewish. like, oh shit.
There's so much about this that is fascinating. I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant here. Look, Nico Harrison is your GM, has a long history with Kyrie. Jason Kidd has a long history with Kyrie, apparently, that came out here. And Luka Doncic did give the go-ahead on this one. He, according to sources, he gave the head nod on this one and said, okay, go get him. Now, everyone is involved in this. And for me, this unsettles me because you're sending Kyrie to Dallas. I mean, I don't know what Dallas's makeup is, but you know, right now looking at the city, are his views going to be more accepted in Dallas?
That's the thing, and that's the part that I hate. So like,
so he's going to be more encouraged to go farther off the deep end.
So as a Dallas boy, let me put it to you this way. Dallas is actually a pretty liberal city, but you are still sitting in the heartland of Texas.
Yes.
The state itself, where people thought it was becoming more and more purple, is really pretty still solidified red.
Yeah.
Um,
You can't ignore this, people. You cannot exist in a vacuum. This is
right.
Dallas.
But to that point again, if you want to bring politics into it, that in that particular light, just to look at the makeup of the city and whatnot, you obviously have some of the more elite Dallasites that are going to be right up the alley. Maybe not flat Earth, but as far as anti-vax
conspiracy
and
stuff,
all that kind of stuff, there's that.
But
again,
how often are we going to hear he's one of the good ones? How often are we going to hear that?
You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's the thing. Again, Dallas as a whole, still a very blue city. Most major metroplexes are. But then the people that are rooting for them, obviously San Antonio is going to be Spurs. Houston's going to be the Rockets. And you're going to find more people are into them in Texas than they are the Mavs. Not that people don't like the Mavs. I mean, everything with Dirk and all that kind of stuff, and people love Mark Cuban. But that's the thing. I think you have a much better any of the stuff you're thinking about. It's gonna make way more sense down in Texas, no matter what city you're fucking talking about, than in Brooklyn.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And to be honest with you, it also kind of depends. If you're specifically talking about the nonsense that he was saying about the Black Israelite shit, you're in Brooklyn. There's more Black people. There's going to be more hoteps and random motherfuckers that will probably believe that. But then like the anti-vax shit is tending to be more MAGA folk. It's not saying there aren't Black folk that don't. Right. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I here's the fucked up part. Yeah. I don't ever want to sound like fucking Laura Ingraham talking about just shut up and dribble. Because I fuck her for that forever. She can go fuck herself. But I just, at the same time, I'm like, please, Jesus, I hope he just dribbles and he doesn't speak. And if he does speak, I just hope he don't speak about anything other than basketball. Or maybe because he started a charity and he's helping cure children's cancer. Like, talk about something that just, oh God.
I'm going to find you a tweet that I saw that I think is perfect, and you're going to lose your shit when you see it, but it's brilliant. But yeah, overall, Texas does lean conservative, obviously, with the people they've elected into the Senate and what have you. But Dallas County itself, according to recent stats, 64.9% lean Democrat, 33.3% voted for Republican, 1.8% remain independent. Dallas-Fort Worth, Arlington metro area is a little farther to the middle, in between liberal and conservative. So I think, and Jerry Jones owns the Cowboys. You ain't gonna find a more conservative guy than Jerry Jones. I mean, he actually showed up at those Arkansas rallies there, or at those rallies there against the Black kids going to school. But he said he was just looking. But so there's a concern here that Kyrie may find more common thinking folk about his stuff. That's going to elevate. That's going to make him feel even more emboldened to say this shit and explore this shit. Show up at these meetings. Show up at the conference. I mean, there's all this is possible, dude.
So here's the other thing that's actually really interesting. Because because and this is why I got to believe that like maybe Cuban had talks off camera or something like that with Kyrie or whatever. There's actually a pretty strong Jewish community in Dallas too. So I'm also very interested in how that plays out as well. Yeah, not being home, I'm very curious about what the temperature is down there. Right. As far as, because a lot of like the not just Jewish people in general, but a lot of the folks that I like went to school with, being because I went to a private school that was about like 60 or 75% Jewish. Yeah. And so every kid I knew, their parents had season tickets or a step further where they had like suites or anything like that. So I'm very curious about some of the board that's part of the Mavericks organization. Obviously, sure. Mark Cuban owning the team. I'm very curious how a lot of that is going to play out as well and where that's kind of kicking in. So like, it's just a lot going on. There's just a lot going on here, man. So
for sure. But I mean, but you look at this. Look, I respect Nico Harrison going after a guy that he has a strong relationship with. Totally respect that, of course. Mm-hmm. But it isn't like Jason Kidd wasn't a mercurial point guard himself when he played in the NBA with some of the domestic violence situations going on there, some of the stuff that he got involved with. So, and you're looking at this Luka situation. I'm gonna project this out 2 years from now. What if this doesn't work? There's no way Kyrie is going to be a wallflower about it not going as well as he likes, and he starts to undercut Luka. This could force Luka to leave the Dallas Mavericks.
I need you to shut the fuck up and just take all that shit and walk away with it. No, I need
that
you
this
to
could happen, and they choose Kyrie over Luka and build
that.
Kyrie.
In what world? In what world am I taking?
Saying there's a possibility.
In what world am I taking a dude that's 30 and problematic?
Yeah.
Versus the kid who's what, 23, 24, and is clearly is well on his way if he continues at this pace of becoming the face of the league. Of literally, you're but LeBron's a few years out from retiring.
Yes.
You know, you got Steph Curry, who will be in the league for a minute, but like he's really starting to deal with injuries on a regular basis now.
Yeah.
And obviously, you still have Giannis, Anthony Davis, who knows with his injuries. You got John Morant. You got other folks in there that are vying for this.
Yeah.
But who has had this kind of ridiculous growth pattern from the day they were drafted to now, to literally, he may not have been able to get a ring, but has willed himself to an additional level of the playoffs every fucking year, essentially by himself.
Can I show you Kevin Durant, who's been multiple time injured, playing with Kyrie? There, Winston, you and I know about negative energy, and we know when negative energy goes into a positive situation, weird shit starts to happen. And this is my concern here. Kyrie shows up. You're worried about a Kyrie injury. I mean,
so I'll put it to you this way.
Yeah.
This is there's a couple things, and I hear what you're saying about the positive negative energy thing, and I agree. It only takes it only takes one little thing that could shift and really wreck everything. But if you treat this like a math equation, if we're at a 10 and Kyrie's at a -6, bitch, we a net 4. So you know what I'm saying? Like you just need to you need to make sure that the positive is outweighing whatever negative is coming in.
Well, and I would but Mark Cuban is a rebellious guy himself, Winston.
And that's part of the reason
with the NBA.
But that's part of the reason why I think if anybody can potentially absorb those blows, he's one of the few that I think actually could.
Do you think Cuban and Kid and Nico are going to tell him, stop talking about the flat earth stuff or the anti-Semitic stuff? Or do you think they're the ones that are going to corral Kyrie Irving? I just can't see that happening. I just don't see that happening.
I don't see any sort of situation where you try and silence him, but I think you have a situation where, again, if anybody is potentially available to like handle that, you know what I'm saying? Because there are other situations where, like, I think of the Nets, for example. I feel like the Nets have been in whatever sort of like kind of weird flux for a long time. Like even when they left New Jersey to become the Brooklyn Nets, and then where do we find our superstar type situation? And then all of a sudden oh my God, you got Kevin Durant and Kyrie. That's crazy. Holy shit, we traded for Harden, but Harden's kind of doing this shit over here. And now Kyrie's running this. Like, it's, weird, just like vibe coming out of that place for a while. You know what I'm saying? True. Boston in of itself, I don't like. I know that they're a historic franchise.
Sure, but we know the history of Boston with black athletes.
The history of Boston with black athletes.
Utah with black athletes.
I know he didn't. Udobe wasn't there. The coach that just got fired. He wasn't there when Kyrie was, right? Or was he an assistant coach? He wasn't there at all.
No.
So, but you're kind of seeing how there's still a very good team. I think they're number 1 in the league right now, or at least they're number 1 in the East.
The Celtics are, yes, absolutely. Yes.
But their own kind of little level of drama just based off of some of the stuff that kind of happens there. So look, I'm gonna be real honest here. I'm not writing off that he genuinely could be a bazooka that it comes in and blows shit up, but like I have to believe Mark Cuban being who he is, and not just successful, but in the public eye, vocal successful. And if anything, I would argue while Jerry Jones is much richer than Mark Cuban.
Yes.
Just based off of the valuation of the Cowboys.
Sure.
You're talking about a dude that far surpasses Jerry Jones in my opinion, because there's very few billionaires that people are rooting for. People actually like Cuban because he will pop off at the mouth when people are like wrong, and he'll actually do things to take care of folks. Like when the pandemic happens, that he was actively paying out of pocket for the stadium workers to be able to still make money and not just get fully furloughed or fired. Like he was like taking care of them, not forever, but he did for an extended period of time. Like that's the type of person that Mark Cuban is. So yeah, he runs his mouth. Yeah, he causes a lot of drama. Yeah, he'll just throw money at fines and shit like that. But if anybody feels like the type of person that could maybe absorb this blow, it's Mark Cuban.
Okay. I mean, Mark, remember there was the
big
sexual harassment situation that went down.
I
so that's Mark Cuban too.
I am aware.
Yeah.
And once that kind of happened, Cuban also was like, fuck, yeah. And they started cleaning house. You know what I mean? So we'll see. Oh, God.
Oh, shit. I love you talking yourself into it. I appreciate you talking.
I have to. What am I going to do? I don't run the Mavs. I can't call them and be like, I need you to reverse this shit. I need you to go flip Kyrie for Giannis. Like, what the fuck I'm going to do? Like,
you ain't Kyrie for Giannis, that's for sure. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. But here's the deal. I mean, the Mavericks were already 24th defensively in the league this season. 24th, and they just got rid of one of their best defenders. So unless there are more moves to be made by Thursday, these guys are in some trouble defensively. So you can score all the points you want. If you're giving away defenders to get offense, that isn't the balance that eventually is going to lead to you winning a lot in the playoffs or what have you. And I'm going to throw another thing out there. There's no guarantee Kyrie is going to stay past this season. That's the even crazier part of this whole situation, because that's what stopped the Lakers deal. And we'll get to that. The Lakers, he wouldn't commit to a extension until he got to the team and played with the players. Then he was going to decide. Dallas is taking a chance that this is going to work and that Kyrie will like playing with Luka and will stay and sign a massive contract, because it'll be an insane contract.
The only and that's the thing, he would only be able to get a 4-year because he hadn't been there long enough to get a supermax. But I would say the only thing about it, even though we're gonna miss Finney-Smith and Dinwiddie, they also traded away picks a pretty long way away. Well, second round in 2027 and an unprotected first and then a second in 2029. Bro, it's 2023. Yeah. You do not have to pay for this potential crime until what his the first one would be if he does get this contract and it expires. It would be 4 years from now. So like you got some time, and you could always maybe acquire other picks another way. Good luck getting another unprotected first. Yeah. Unless you're blowing shit up. And I definitely don't ever want to see a world where like Luka leaves. I hope that Luka is just like Dirk and we have him from start to finish and he ends his Hall of Fame career with us. 20 years in. But you know what I'm saying? You are not going to have to pay for this quite yet. Because I think while as good as the two of them were, we weren't getting it done.
No, you're right. You weren't getting it done. And the high usage rate on Luka was eventually going to lead to him shutting down, getting an injury, or what have you. We've seen that happen with numerous players.
Football and basketball are very different. Yeah. But I love to I hate the fact that Dallas will go find a superstar as a city and then run them into the ground. Like literally DeMarco Murray and I would say Ezekiel Elliott at this point. You put so much usage on them. Yeah. Eventually they break down, and that's a violent sport that'll do it more rapidly. But if he's out here playing almost full time, resting maybe 2 to 3 minutes at most a game, bro, that's not going to end well.
That's a Tom Thibodeau recipe for coaching, and you don't want to have that happen to someone like Luka Doncic. We got a Streamlab that came through, a couple of them from Hill Nellums. Thank you, Hill. Great to see you, brother. He said Luka has the ability to become more LeBron-like and defer a little with Kyrie. If they can get on the same page, an amazing basketball talent, if he's able to stay on the court, that's the fucking big thing. Watch the Stan documentary about Mahmoud Abdul Rauf on Showtime is a great watch, and is a great watch of a player who should not be forgotten about. Yes, I loved Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. I remember watching him in college, and I remember the issue that he dealt with in his life and in the game. So I didn't know there was a new Showtime documentary about him. I will absolutely watch that. There's also a new documentary about the Ravens that debuted on ESPN Plus over the weekend. So I'm definitely going to watch that and probably review it for this channel. I'm going to start doing more sports reviews on this channel. So I'll definitely be watching that as well. But yes, a great suggestion, Hill. But yeah, do you think Hill's right? Do you think Kyrie can defer a little bit to Luka? I mean, do you think he's going to want to play, not the alpha with Luka? I mean, we saw what happened with James Harden and was it John Wall? They couldn't really coexist. So do you think this will work?
Well, but see, that's the thing, and it depends. It depends on what Kyrie's feeling, because remember, he was the one that initially wanted out. LeBron wasn't necessarily going anywhere yet, and Kyrie was the one being like, "I don't want to play with him anymore."
Yeah. True.
You know what I mean? He was the one that was like, "Let me bounce out of here." But remember how well that worked?
Yeah.
So if you were putting Luka in the position of being LeBron and you're letting Kyrie be Kyrie, you're literally talking about a situation where in the middle of a game 5, maybe it was game 6. I want to say it was game 5. Him and LeBron went off for 50 to save their playoff hopes and eventually make the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history. Like, you just have to get it in a situation where it's like, cool, you take control right now. Cool, I'll take control. And it's a give and take. And the other thing is, Luka, very similar to what LeBron does, is he'll take the ball and he'll do what he has to do, but Luka also has eyes in the back of his head, and it has a surprising amount of assists where he's like, damn, there's 3 of y'all motherfuckers. Look, there's Kyrie. And then all of a sudden, so I think it'll work. I think play style, it will work. I'm not worried about the basketball, honestly. I think the basketball will work fine.
Okay.
But we did talk about defense.
Yes.
I do want to make sure that we shore up our defense, and we'll see what happens.
Right.
But I'm just worried about what Kyrie as a distraction could potentially do. That's what worries me.
Yeah, Hill, to be fair to Hill, was mentioning Luka being more of a passer, being more deferring to LeBron. But he's not a LeBron type. It's a different, first of all, it's a different body shape. Second of all, it's a different way to lead the team. He'd become a different kind of point guard. And can you make that kind of change halfway through the season to try to make this work? I don't know. I respect the kid. He's an incredible basketball mind and a hell of a lot of confidence. Would he be willing to kind of adjust his game to fit Kyrie into it? I think he would be, but to what extent? And will that lead to victories? Because what's the point of adjusting your game if it's not leading to W's,
Well, and I think that's it. You adjust, you see how it works, and if it doesn't work, you come up with another game plan and you try and make this work the rest of this year to really kind of help. Because that's the other thing. Yeah. I don't think Luka minds if it's turning in, like you said, if it turns into W's.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like I maybe there's a point if like all of a sudden they're winning all this stuff, then you're kind of like, well, I want to be the lead, but like, let's not go Jerry Jones with this. You want to know the real reason why the Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl since the 50s, can't even make an NFC championship game since the 50s? Because Jerry Jones has to be the star.
Right.
Period. Yeah, he has to be the reason that they did this. If Jerry could eat some humble pie, then because like there's no reason Jimmy Johnson shouldn't be in our ring of honor, and yet he's not, because Jerry will not while he's alive.
Right.
That's not going to happen. And so like if Jerry would relinquish more control and really put like, why wasn't Sean Payton our coach? We should have never gone down this Jason Garrett, Wade Phillips, eventually, Mike McCarthy path. There's no reason that Sean Payton shouldn't have come to Dallas, who was interested in the job.
Yeah.
What hell of rings with Sean Payton, just based off of who he is as a coach. And so it's the same thing here. I think that Luka will be happy to take his hands off the reins. He's already in conversation to be MVP at this particular point. He could still win it. And I bet you if he wins his MVP and then they win a goddamn chip, he don't give a fuck.
Yeah, true. But there's a lot of smart there's a lot of smart coaches in the league that are going to understand how to defensively plan for this team. And you're right. We got to find out what happens over the next 3 days. If the Mavs pick up because I think Markieff Morris is a good pickup for them as well to be part of the defensive side of things. but who else are they going to pick up that are going to help them elevate to a certain level so that the offense becomes something that teams actually do fear instead of being able to just game plan and know that their offense are going to eventually outscore the Mavs offense. So that's going to be very interesting as well. And we do have footage of Kyrie arriving, or a picture of Kyrie arriving here into Dallas. So there you go, Winston. He has arrived currently in Dallas right now.
He's on the Old Town Road, bro. Is that what's going on?
Atop the white horse.
Ride till I can't no more.
Atop the white horse. All right, let's take a quick break, man. We got to get into some other things. I can't believe we've talked for 40 minutes about this. So let's get into the after effects of all of this as well right after this. All right, Winston, let's get into the Kevin Durant of this all with Kyrie, because there's been a lot of people talking about Kevin Durant possibly might be next. I tweeted out something yesterday. All people got so upset about it. Some people got upset. Some people were excited about it. But like, I had heard from people that I know who are tapped into the NBA, and I do have those people that I know who are tapped in the NBA who have told me that the Kevin Durant to Phoenix Suns is a done deal. And they're just working out the particulars. Now, I didn't clarify if it's for the summer or if it's for right now. But for me, I pontificated, or I had my opinion about it, that I think the Nets locked down the Kyrie trade early on a Sunday so that they had 4 days to figure out, to work out the particulars here with Kevin Durant. Because if they can't because there's also people saying that the Nets are going to go and get pieces to build around Kevin Durant. They got a nice haul from the Mavericks, but is that going to be enough for them to get the people they need to get around Kevin Durant? Now, if they can't get players around Kevin Durant, then I imagine the Kevin Durant to Phoenix situation is back in play for the next few days. I'm sure they're taking, even Stephen A. Smith said this morning, they're taking calls about Kevin Durant. Woj said, I couldn't rule it out. So Stephen A. Smith thinks it could be the Celtics that they go and trade trade Brown there for Durant with other picks and what have you. And it could be the Suns trading Chris Paul, Jay Crowder, who is not playing for Phoenix, obviously, this season because he's sitting out, which is a crazy situation. So there are these rumors going around that Kevin Durant might be next. So what do you think about this whole situation? And how do you feel about Kevin leaving the Warriors because of the shit with Draymond Green, and that the fans were saying, oh, you went and bought yourself a ring. You didn't really earn it. You didn't lead a team. And now you go to Brooklyn with your guy, Kyrie, and James comes in, and it all implodes, and you're the last guy there. Like, where is your mentality in all this? And what do you think about Kevin Durant possibly being traded before Thursday?
It kind of feels like I know technically Harden was the last guy there, but it feels like last guy in, last guy out. Turn the lights off on the way out because, remember, Kyrie got there first.
Yeah.
And then Kevin went to go over there with his torn Achilles because he didn't play that first year. What's wild to me is the number that they only played 74 games together.
74 total.
In how many years?
3 seasons. You could say 4, but Kevin Durant was out recovering with that knee injury from the Warriors situation for one of those
74 games. That's crazy because there's 82 in a season. You didn't even play a full season together.
Yeah.
So I feel a little bad for KD, bro, because I get it. I feel like there's nothing this man can do to win. I think the greatest thing that he's done, I think it's more than this, but I think that the universe that nobody is faulting him for, because Lord knows KD has been caught up in everything from he bought a ring to he's soft because he's making burner accounts and all that. That I think the one thing we universally all agree on that was legit was the mom, you the real MVP. You know what I'm saying? When during his MVP speech and all that, that's the only thing that I think everybody universally goes, yeah, KD, chef's kiss to that. But I've always liked KD. I don't blame him, honestly, because I'm petty for making burner accounts to go shit talk somebody. I just don't think it's good for your psyche.
Wait. You've done that? Are you saying you've created burner accounts?
No, I haven't, but I would do some shit like that. Okay. What I have done in the past is that people think they slick when they like try and block you on some shit. You don't think that I don't have other means to find out what the fuck's going on? Like there's ways to do that. And that's not a particular slight at anything. That's just like people don't realize that, you know, technology, for example, can be manipulated in a number of different ways. So if I need to figure some shit out, figure some shit out. I respect that element of Kevin Durant, but there's got to be a point at which you have to tune. I know it's hard because it's millions of people talking at you versus me dealing with. I read one YouTube comment and I'm ready to fucking burn it all down. So like I get it, but yeah, man, yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be really really interesting to see if KD does end up in. You said in Phoenix. There's Phoenix. Talks that's done. Yeah,
that's what I've heard from my connections to people I know to people who I know who know people in the NBA. That's what they've slid to me yesterday on text. I got 2 texts from 2 different people who said to me, "This is what I'm hearing. Just letting you know." So that was it. And people were questioning me on Twitter, and I'm like, I've been hosting sports shows for 5 years. You guys know I have a large group of friends who are connected in multiple areas of entertainment. And yes, the NBA is connected to entertainment through agencies, through CAA, through other agencies there. They're connected. And so these people talk, and 2 friends of mine reached out and were like, "This is what I'm hearing." And
that was as of when?
That was as of yesterday afternoon.
So then this other article that we have as part of this discussion about Kevin Durant being tied to the Celtics and maybe Jaylen Brown leaving.
That's Stephen A. Smith this morning. He said that this morning on First Take. I'm just going to tell you, I hear they're on the phone and that Jaylen Brown might be involved. That's what he is saying. That could work because you could see. Because again, that's why I said it might be that, which means they might have agreed in principle, but they've got to haggle out these little particulars. It could be in the particulars where the issues come, kind of like with the Lakers. Now, we did get the report that Joe Tsai, the owner of the Nets, said he was cool with Kyrie being traded, but he would not approve Kyrie being traded to the Lakers. The Lakers made that easier by not agreeing to the extension. They were willing to throw in their picks, their first-round picks that they were talking about. They were willing to throw them in, but the Nets wanted more than that, and that's where eventually it shut down, and they honored Joe Tsai's request there by not, because he's the owner, by not trading him there. So I don't know if there's little particulars here with the Phoenix Brooklyn situation that might affect it. And if those particulars affect it, then the Celtics thing starts to come into play. So I have a feeling Brooklyn is doing 3 things right now. They're figuring out if they can trade. They're on the phone right now, figuring out if they can trade for pieces to help KD stay in Brooklyn. And if they're not, then they're also on the phone with the Celtics and the Phoenix Suns going like, okay, let's hammer out these trades, and then we will bring it to Joe Tsai, and Joe Tsai will decide which way we want to go, I imagine. So that's what I think they're doing, all 3 things at the same time, you know. So I would not be surprised to see him staying with Brooklyn. I would not be surprised that we hear he's going to Phoenix tomorrow, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to the Celtics by Thursday. So I'm just throwing that out there. Because Phoenix right now, if you put Durant with Booker, holy shit, man. Holy shit. Plus, I think there's a little piece of Kevin to be like, yeah, I'm going to go to the West, and I'm going to beat LeBron, and I'm going to beat Kyrie, and I'm going to lead this team to a fucking NBA championship. And the Suns have never been NBA champions, so that could be a feather in his cap. So
it'll be interesting to see. Man. I do love that Joe Tsai, I guess, was so petty that he's like, nah, you're not going to Los Angeles, bro. Yeah. Hell no.
Joe Tsai said, no way. You can go anywhere you want.
No. You're not going to LA. Sit your ass down. You're not going there. Absolutely not. Oh, man.
I just feel bad for Durant because I think Durant did snake bit. Just for the way he's constructed as a human being, you know what I'm saying? The situation with Russell Westbrook the whole time in Oklahoma City was so shitty for him, trying to navigate the ego of Russell Westbrook, which is flamed out. And then he goes to Golden State after Golden State beats them in the playoffs, which is a real weird thing to do.
Yeah.
rides out, gets two rings with the Warriors.
2 rings and 2 final MVPs.
Yeah, I guess the MVP. And then he goes, you know what? I'm going to go build my own shit. I'm going to go to Brooklyn and show you guys. I'm going to bring my best friend with me. I'm going to redeem him from the Boston situation. I'm going to bring James in, who was part of the original Big Three over in Oklahoma City, and we're going to redeem him too, and we're going to ride all the way into the finals and win a couple.
To be honest with you,
and nothing happened.
But I'll be honest with you, and that I think is what the best laid plans. You got to remember, forget the Achilles tear, because that happened while he was still over in Golden State.
In Golden State, right at the end.
Dude, the pandemic fucked up a lot of people's plans.
That's a fair point.
And to be honest with you, just based on how that all played out, because it's not just the scheduling and all that.
Right.
Kyrie got extra famous again.
Yeah.
For being so anti-vax. Mm-hmm. That's where things got really, like, it's not to say his anti-Semitic comments weren't awful. It's not to say his flat earth shit was like, dude, but like the flat earth shit, you were like, okay, Kyrie, but nobody got suspended for that. You were just like, all right, bro. And then as far as like the anti-Semitic stuff, like, yeah, it was really bad, and it's a bad look regardless, but it makes me wonder because part of what's been going on is the trajectory of the way things have been going and him being more and more vocal about things.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, if the pandemic doesn't happen, does he ever end up in that situation where he's saying that? There's not a direct correlation, but you know, the butterfly effect of how little things can whatever. It makes me wonder if Kyrie is not as big of a talker other than his random flat earth theories.
Yeah.
Does he openly start saying and sharing this kind of shit, and it becomes a whole other situation? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's going to be what we're going to keep an eye on with all of this. Another element of this, and we should hit Winston, is the LeBron situation, the fallout from this situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want to share this because, man, I don't know what kind of tweet this is, bro. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me.
It's me. Hi. The problem is me.
Look, I think LeBron James deserves so much credit for so many things he's done in the NBA and outside the NBA. You know, the guy is a burgeoning media mogul. God love him. He's been incredible. This passive aggressive streak of his is something that completely confounds me every time it appears. It is because I'm so used to Jordan. I'm so used to Larry. I'm so used to these guys Shaq or Kobe. Kobe would have never tweeted, maybe it's me. Now, look, Kobe was passive aggressive in different ways for sure, but he wouldn't have done something like this. And I just don't understand why you tweet something like this. And then apparently, I don't know if I could play the video, but they just released a video ESPN did. He sat down with Michael Wilbon and talked about the situation with Kyrie and the Lakers not getting Kyrie Irving. And am I like misremembering things? Didn't LeBron leave because of issues with Kyrie? And now he's saying to Michael Wilbon, I can't sit here and say I'm not disappointed on not being able to land such a talent.
No, that's not at all. I need to go back and look at my timelines, but remember, Kyrie wanted off. Kyrie said, get me out of here.
Yes, Kyrie wanted to leave.
And then LeBron was like, I got my ring for my city. This is a dumpster fire now. But that's the thing that a lot of Laker fans were upset about when he was coming out. I think it was ridiculous that they were putting all that slander. And then Kobe had to step up and be like, stop talking shit about one of the greatest players of all time. You lucky fucks. You are lucky to have him here. And to that point, he did get them at least one ring.
He did.
He got the Lakers at least one.
He did. But I think that's the difference between Kyrie and LeBron. Like, if you're going to take on LeBron, you're going to take on all the LeBron drama, both positive and negative. But he has brought every city he's played at a title. Miami, 2 titles. Cleveland, 1 title, first time ever in their history. And the Lakers, another title. So for all the drama, you do get the chip. At least one in every place he's been at.
But all that being said, what he does, though, if you're talking about everybody wants a chip, wants the chip.
Sure,
but take it from somebody that has exactly one with the Mavericks. You know what I would have loved more? That we didn't just decide, well, we got one, fuck it, blow it up, keep a couple pieces, and we'll see if we can make this work. I would have preferred if we had been able to keep the team around or upgrade and continue to win. People want to win all the time. That should be the goal. Because, like, think about the Raptors. The Raptors are dog shit now. They were really good for that 1 year to get that title over the Warriors. Yeah. And then Kawhi was like, bye, bitch. And now what are they? So what the big thing with LeBron, and to be honest with you, it's like deciding to go out and binge drink, bro. You are having the time of your life while you were out there like winning at beer pong and making out with the hot chick and doing shots with the bros. But the minute the party's over, you have a massive hangover. You spent a shit ton of money and you're questioning decisions that you made. And that's the thing. You look at every team after he's left. Yeah, it's kind of been like for a bit. They eventually recover. Because then look at the fact that Miami did eventually get Jimmy Butler and they did eventually make it back to the finals. Look at what the Cavs are doing now and that they eventually got Donovan Mitchell. But how much time did it take after the fact? Because he was forcing trades, making people sign contracts with people that like are maybe good in the moment, but are not going to be long-term solutions. And now look what he's done to the Lakers. Great. You went and got Anthony Davis, and in doing so, you got the one chip during the pandemic. But this dude has stayed injured and has not been what you thought he would be. You went to go get Russell Westbrook, and look how much that has been a devastation to this team. So like there is a caveat to having LeBron because he insists on having a GM type role, if not just being the GM. Yeah. And that shit backfires.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. And look, the Lakers did offer what they could have offered. The Nets just turned them down, and Joe Tsai made it clear, we don't want him. We're not going to trade with the Lakers, rather. So for LeBron to come out and do this interview and tweet that out, it's really weird to me because no matter what they offered, almost, they weren't going to make the trade with the Lakers. So it's not the Lakers front office fault if they offered everything they could possibly offer and the Nets still didn't want to take it. Yeah. It seems odd to me. And so I think this is fascinating because this trade could be the tipping point for so many franchises.
Yeah.
Does Luka stay with Dallas in 2 years? I don't know. Does LeBron leave the Lakers now because he doesn't feel like Jeannie Buss and Pelinka are fully committed to constructing a team that works, even though I agree with Winston. LeBron has picked almost every fucking teammate, no matter what he says in a press conference, has picked every player that has played with them.
I'm reading the LA Times article that you sent as part of this because obviously we were looking at it from a bunch of different ways, but this particular paragraph is killing me. So again, brought in AD, brought in Westbrook.
Yes.
And now what? And now he's mad that the Lakers didn't follow his advice and acquire the NBA's absolute worst teammate, a selfish, anti-Semitic, eccentric who would leave the Lakers in complete ruins. Just stop. As the creator of a trio that makes $150 million and is in 13th place.
Yeah.
James no longer has any right to demand that the Lakers sacrifice even more of their tattered future for the sake of a few more wins now.
Yeah. This is all about ego at this point in LeBron James's situation. It's all about status and brand saving and the idea that the Lakers won't do what he tells them to do. It shows that there's a loss in power. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a great line in The Godfather in the first movie when Sollozzo shoots Godfather in the streets and he says to Tom Hagen, says, could I have gotten to 10 years ago? Could I have gotten to The Godfather? He's slipping. And it's the same thing's happening here. LeBron's power is slipping. The Lakers, just like the Cavaliers before the Lakers, were not willing to sacrifice or mortgage their future fully to appease LeBron. And look, the Cavaliers have bounced back way quicker than they did the first time when they got caught with their pants down when LeBron left to Miami. They've got a great core. They picked up some great players. Donovan Mitchell over there. They're doing fine. The Lakers look at the situation. They know LeBron's maybe 1 to 2 years of being done here. And even though he's balling out, Tom Brady balled out last year. How'd that work out this year? So as you look at this situation, every old man's got one last fucking season in him. And then when it's done, it's done.
It was almost the same with he didn't win a ring, but at least as far as what he did for the Vikings, I think it's the same thing with Brett Favre. Like he went in and wasn't that good in the Jets, but then he was there with Adrian Peterson. He was one really bad interception decision away from going to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like, it's the same thing. If you're gonna go all in on an older player, it's fine. But just understand you have a temporary window there, because I would make the argument like Aaron Donald is still kind of in the middle of his prime. He's probably got another 1 or 2 years left in his prime. He'll still be amazing as long as he wants to play. But you know what I'm saying? Where he's like peak output.
Yeah.
Von Miller still has that too, though that knee injury wasn't great. But like it was the same thing. You were like, yo, Donald's in the middle of his prime.
Yeah.
Vaughn is getting ready to be out of his prime. Who knows what Odell's kind of still has in the tank just based off of the drama in Cleveland, but bring his ass over here. They went and put the Expendables together because you went and got fucking Matt Stafford's old ass, and great. But now look at what's going on. You know?
Yeah. I mean, McVay was literally entertaining leaving the NFL after this season to go and be a broadcaster somewhere or go and do something else for a year. And what have you. So that's the kind of repercussions from that kind of a situation. It's the same thing with like the Marlins. I put no stake in the Marlins, who won 2 titles because they compiled a couple of all-star teams and then sold everybody off the next year. I put no credibility in those titles. Zero. I really don't. And so it's the teams that have been teams for a while that work their way to championships and get there. I think it's great. Now with Miami, they picked it up. They got to that final. They lost to your Mavericks, and then they stuck with it for a few more years, won 2 more titles. Wasn't until San Antonio absolutely embarrassed them in that that second finals matchup that they blew it all up and took off. And great, but at least you were there for a while. I don't buy those teams that are put together just for the season and then boom. You know, it's the worst. I put no credibility in that Rams Super Bowl win. Zero. And I'm a Rams fan, and I put no credibility in because they couldn't maintain it. And now Baker Mayfield might start for this fucking team. That's how far you've gone down for sure. Anything more we should hit on with this situation? Anything more we should touch on with the Kyrie stuff?
No, I think that's pretty much everything, man. I mean, we've hit it from every angle. We've only got 18 minutes left, and so
that's true.
I feel like there's other things we want to talk about.
All right, let's take one last quick break, and then we'll finish out in the next 18 minutes with the show here, right after this. All right, real quick, Stephen Curry is out with a leg injury. How much do you think this is going to impact the Warriors, who have been kind of, in and out this season? Do you anticipate this is probably going to send them tumbling down the standings and maybe out of contention? What do you anticipate here?
It really depends on how long he's out. I would venture a guess with the Warriors, man. Like, they're good enough, especially they kind of have that dynasty element that like they don't need to be the number 1 seed. Like they just need to come in there healthy and ready to ball.
Fair enough.
And I think that they're fine, knowing especially from a team that currently holds the win record for they know better.
True.
That it's not important. The important part is let's all be healthy and ready for a long run through the playoffs.
Yeah.
So if Steph is going to be okay, hopefully sooner than later, so they don't just fall completely out of contention.
Yeah.
They'll be fine. I'm not worried about that. But it just depends. It depends on, because I'm looking at the injury right now, and when Steph got hit, it's how long is this injury?
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, let's move on to some football stuff. Let's look at this situation with the Super Bowl. We're a few days away, Winston. It's going to happen this week. Has anything changed from last week when you were looking at these two teams and offering up your matchups?
No, I stand by a couple of things. It really looks like that the Chiefs are already getting back to being healthy. Like there's all the rumors that are coming out of it, all the injury reports are that they're doing just fine. Yeah. And if that's the case, I stand by what I said. It doesn't mean that the Eagles can't win. It doesn't mean that this is a lock. Absolutely not. Like they were the best team in football most of the year.
Yeah.
But I think what someone pointed out, which is a good point, Patrick Mahomes has played someone the likes of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has not played someone of the likes of Patrick Mahomes.
True.
I like let me pull up their schedule this year. There's no time at which Eagles, there it is. There's no time at which they were playing against a quarterback that can move just like Hurts can, that can score at will just like Hurts can. That's not what their schedule was this year. It was Jared Goff. It was Kirk Cousins. It was whoever the fuck you had at quarterback at the time.
I don't know. Could have been
Sure, Trevor Lawrence, but if I remember correctly, Trevor, this was at the beginning of the season where the Jaguars were like, oh, well, they're trash, and it took a minute for him to kind of get his stuff going. Yeah, you had Kyler, but I think Kyler got injured either in that game or soon thereafter. No, but he just didn't do the shit, and he didn't do his homework. Right. As we were worried he was not going to do anyway. You didn't play Dak the first time. You played Cooper Rush. Yeah. And I would not put Dak in a category of Patrick Mahomes. You didn't play a real quarterback in the Steelers or the Texans against y'all again, where they lost that first time. Right. Matt Ryan, a shell of Aaron Rodgers. Tannehill, and I don't even think Tannehill was in that game. Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, but just the Bears are not a good team. Right. And then Dak again. Whatever was going on with Taysom and them and whatnot, and then Daniel Jones. Like, what Patrick Mahomesian quarterback have you played? And then in the playoffs, you played Daniel Jones again, and then you played no quarterbacks with San Francisco. Like, who of a Patrick Mahomes caliber have you dealt with? Whereas Patrick Mahomes had to deal with Josh Allen all season. He had to deal with Joe Burrow all season. He had to deal with, I believe they played the Ravens as well. So, he's out here having to deal with Lamar Jackson before he got injured. Like, he's dealt with this, let alone he played Tom Brady with Brady still having the sauce. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, there is a difference in who has been truly tested against arguably top 5, if not number 1 quarterback in the league. Okay. So it'll be interesting. So what's your prediction? My prediction remains that I said it was all dependent on injuries. That it looks like the Chiefs are doing just fine. So I think the Chiefs take it by 2 scores. We'll say 10 points. Okay. And it's going to be one of those situations where, no, I'll take it back. It'll be 9 points. It won't even be a full 10. It won't be it'll be some sort of situation where maybe it's like 3 field goals or it's some off, but I think they win by 9. We'll call it. Go ahead. Sorry. Bless you. Sorry 30 to 21. Okay. The Chiefs are getting Clyde Edwards-Helaire back off of injured reserve. McCole Hardman is going on injured reserve because he hurt his pelvis in the game against the Bengals. So that's going to be a good thing for them to have a little bit more of a running back situation there because they're going to have Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon there as well. So that could be interesting for them. He hasn't played since November 20th, which was their win against the Chargers. That's another great quarterback he's played, Justin Herbert, as well, in my opinion. He's a great quarterback. So this will be very interesting to have Edwards-Helaire in there. And Ronald Jones, thankfully, will be inactive for the Super Bowl. Yeah, because I don't know what he was doing on that team. So this will be interesting to see with their injuries at receiver. With Mecole Hardman got put on IR? Yeah, because he hurt his pelvis. Shit. That's another receiver. So they've got a lot of big. That makes me a little nervous. Right, exactly. But I stand by my analysis. Today, it was released that the Madden simulator, the official Madden NFL 23 simulator, predicted that the Eagles would beat the Chiefs 31-17. And I'm going to agree with the Madden NFL 23. 31-17. Yes. You believe the Eagles are going to beat the Chiefs 31-17? Yeah, if not by more. So that's what I think. And I'll tell you why. Because everyone is thinking the Chiefs are going to do it. The Eagles is exactly what Winston said. You haven't played anybody. You haven't proved yourself. There's nothing that motivates a team of professionals more than people doubting you and people saying, you can't do it. You're up against a team like a transcendent talent like Patrick Mahomes, and no one has been given Jalen Hurts his flowers the way they've been giving Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen their flowers, Tom Brady even the whole season. And so I think Jalen Hurts, I think the Philadelphia Eagles are coming in here with a point to prove, and they are going to come in here and absolutely demolish these Chiefs. And I'll tell you why. Who the fuck predicted Tampa Bay destroying the Chiefs in the Super Bowl? Nobody. So it's very possible. I think the Eagles are a juggernaut of a team, and they are salivating
to play a real team, not the Giants, not what was left of the 49ers. And I think it's going to be a hell of a Super Bowl. But I think eventually Philadelphia's just overwhelming approach to the game is going to lead to a victory over the Chiefs. So that's my prediction. And we'll find out on Monday in a week from now, if I was right or Winston was right in the end of this game.
31-17.
Yeah.
I have been calling Sean a psycho for weeks. Sean Brennan about this blood feud.
The guy
He's in the chat. Right. I am sorry, Sean. He clearly does. You said the Eagles were going to win. If you even said the Eagles were going to win by maybe 2 scores, I'd be like, fine.
Yeah.
Which technically, I guess 31-17 is 2 scores.
It is 2 scores. You said 9 points. What's the difference?
But because one is I gotta kick a couple field goals type situation. Let me score a touchdown. I kick a field goal. I win the game. Mm-hmm. The other is 2 full fucking touchdowns, bro.
Yeah. Let's take a look real quick at this graphic that
bring it up. And I never said the Eagles didn't play good teams. I said you didn't play a quarterback of the caliber of Patrick Mahomes. That's what I said.
Haskell, if you really tweeted it, I don't see it on my notification. So maybe tweet it again, bro, because I don't see it. You tweeted out the AJ Green thing, which of course, more props to him and congratulations and have a fun retirement.
I'm sad to see him go, but yeah.
I don't see anywhere where you tweeted me this thing.
He did. He sent it to both of us. I'll find it. Give me a minute.
I don't see it. It must have been earlier this morning.
Sent it. He said, here we go.
Here we go. Okay,
here we got it.
Okay.
Yep, that's it.
The Chiefs this year, 16-3 overall, 546 points scored, 6 All-Pros, including a Travis Kelce brother, or Travis Kelce, and their QB, AFC's number 1 seed. Eagles this year, 16-3 overall, 546 points scored, 6 All-Pros, including Kelce brother and their QB, NFC's number 1 seed. Let me tell you the difference. The Eagles would have a better record if Jalen Hurts had played those games where he was out. Mahomes has played every game. So they'd have scored more points, had a better record, and still have been the NFC's number 1 seed.
Yeah, and I would counter that with the AFC was a much harder conference this year than the NFC. I think you had the bigger juggernauts in the Eagles, in the Niners.
Okay. In terms of the defense,
just as far as juggernauts, but as far as like overall well-rounded teams that would smack you in the mouth, we were dealing with Tua nonsense, but the Dolphins looked ridiculous.
The Dolphins Bills
were kicking people's asses. The Bengals were kicking people's asses. Like it was so many teams. Whereas you look at a lot of the teams in the NFC and how fraudulent were they? And I'm going to start with our own selves. Yeah. I love us, but we were fucking fraudulent. The Vikings were fraudulent. The Giants were fraudulent. The Seahawks were fraudulent. The only 2 teams at the end of that actually looked any good were the Niners and the Eagles.
Yes.
So, like, that's the thing. The AFC had more of a challenge to present, and Patrick Mahomes climbed to the top of that fucking scrap heap. Whereas the Eagles, not to say you didn't have to deal with the one dude, but one has experience and was also battle tested all year, and the other is new to the block. And you had to go through a rough ass team, but goddamn, even your test against them lucked in your favor. And it's sad to say that both of their quarterbacks got injured. One who cannot throw the ball, the other who didn't know where he was.
They got injured by the defensive line of that team.
Yes. Which, to be honest with you, there's a whole conversation. There's a whole conversation about Kyle Shanahan now and how his fucking offensive schemes are getting quarterbacks injured. There is no reason you should have had 4 fucking injured quarterbacks.
Totally fair. But I'm telling you, the Eagles are putting your words on the bulletin board. I'm telling you that right now. They're putting your words and every other person.
Let them. And if they win, I won't applaud them, but I'll be like, good for you. And I won't even say that, but I can acknowledge you did a thing. I can do that. I'm never going to congratulate the Eagles. Fuck that. The only way that would happen is if I found out that the Klan put a team together and they represented the AFC, and so it was the Eagles versus the Klan. Then by all means, fly Eagles fly. But otherwise, I'm not rooting for these assholes.
Come on, we're not talking about Duke here. All right, yeah. You know what? I'm getting such a special joy of ignoring Sean. He's getting so upset in the chat. Bet me money.
Which is also
I've never
why
met you and I'm a nobody, but
you're
bet
also
me money.
not really ignoring him because you're acknowledging it. By acknowledging it, you unfortunately
I'm enjoying it. I'm watching him get so upset. It's bringing me nothing but joy. And I can't wait because I think it's going to be a damn good Super Bowl. But I do think eventually the Eagles are going to be able to figure out. I think Sirianni knows Reed as well, and I think he's got some really interesting schemes. And look, Reed's a great coach. Can't deny it. It's been incredible with the Eagles and the Chiefs. But, he has at times fumbled the ball in big games in some of his play calling, some of his time management. And you've got a guy who knows some of the schemes that you're going to put together. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see who gets the best of who in this game. But I'm looking forward to it because this feels like a really good, evenly matched game. It doesn't mean that the other team still won't win by 2 scores just because they're evenly matched. That happens sometimes. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I hope, I'm kind of cheering for the Eagles, even though I do like the Chiefs. I do like Mahomes, regardless of what Sean thinks. I do like them. I just think the Eagles have a better situation here. And by the way, I would have picked the Chiefs over the Buccaneers that one year, and then they got smoked. So I was very surprised by that. So, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's going to be fun. And the wide receiver injuries are concerned.
It was the same way that they won their previous Super Bowl. It came down to now that is actually the interesting thing about the Chiefs.
Okay.
Bad teams they blow out. They don't blow out good teams. They actually barely beat them, and it's because Patrick Mahomes becomes that guy.
Right.
So that is the one thing I will give you as like a little bit of an advantage here for the Eagles.
Okay.
But we've also talked about when you go and look at the games with the Eagles, there was only one game where they were down going into like say the half that they made any sort of comeback. Every time that they've been down, other than that, self-destruction. So if the Chiefs start off hot, the Eagles do not do well playing catch up.
No, well, okay, if you say so. I haven't seen them go down with Jalen Hurts and not be able to play catch up this season. I haven't seen that. With Jalen Hurts at quarterback, I haven't seen that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
This is just going to be a real... I will say this. At least it's not the Niners, or at least it's not like, I guess there was no...
I would have taken the Chiefs over the Niners in a heartbeat. I think Mahomes could have figured out that defense, and I think the Chiefs would have gotten to Brock Purdy. I really do think that. I think your Dallas Cowboys showed exactly how to play Brock Purdy, and I think the Chiefs would have been able to counter that 100% during that game. So I think the Eagles are at full strength. I think they're ready to go. I think they're that team, and they're gonna want this victory for a number of reasons. And if they beat the Chiefs, no one can say shit about their season that they didn't play anybody or they got lucky in the playoffs. They took care of the top seed of the AFC with a transcendent future Hall of Fame.
But that's what the Super Bowl is. This is your final test. No one gets to say a goddamn thing about you once this game is over. They 100%. Really don't. It doesn't matter if you play a sloppy game. If you win the Super Bowl, you deserve all of the praise and none of the rest of this matters. So if the Eagles want to truly shut up all of the shit talkers, this is it. You were you either had people riding your nuts this entire time, or you had people downing the fuck out of you. So you're either gonna lift up those people that supported you and shut up the haters, or you're gonna let those people down and all the haters were right.
And if I hear one Chiefs fan start to complain about the refs and how the NFL has fixed it so the Eagles could win,
we're not going to talk about
y'all can kiss both butt cheeks.
But you know what's not going to happen? If the refs pull some Dez catch shit, if the refs pull some let the Rams into the Super Bowl when they don't deserve it shit, you will be hearing it from me because that's fucking nonsense. And I'm not going to let you change your energy, Rocha. You're going to keep the same energy when you talking about this shit, bro.
What? No, it ain't. But it's the Chiefs fans. I don't want the Chiefs fans who are so critical of the Bengals
so on the flip side,
talking about the officials. Eagles, I don't want them talking about the
flip side. If it happens to the Eagles where you feel where they get cheated by the refs, you're telling me that you're also not going to speak on that?
The game is the game. I never think it's fixed by the NFL, by the way. I've never believed that.
But
too many people.
Yes. Yeah. Fixed, no. Bullshit, yes. I fixed is stupid. That is dumb. That's really, really dumb. But if a ref fucks up and they're fucking up continuously, I will call that out.
Okay. Fair enough. but you're not a Chiefs fan. I'm just talking to.
I am on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
I'm not an anti-fan. I actually like the Chiefs because I like Patrick.
I'm not an anti-fan. I know it's going to be a good game.
Blood.
All right, we got to get out of here.
Last thing, because I do have to
Jesus.
go.
All right, go ahead.
I added it to the.
Oh, yes, the Denver coach thing. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Sean Payton, do you want me to share it or you got it?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so
Sean
Payton was introduced as the coach. Yeah, I'll share my screen right now.
Okay.
Sean Payton was introduced as the coach for the Broncos today. And so he was asked this question about Russell Wilson and having his coaches around. Check this out.
30 seconds. Coach, Russell Wilson had a personal coach, Jake Heaps, in the building with access who wasn't on the staff.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that.
How do you feel about players having their own people off the staff in the building, access to players?
Yeah, that's foreign to me. That's not going to take place here. I mean, I'm unfamiliar with it, but our staff will be here, our players will be here, and that'll be it.
Damn.
I love it. There's a reason why he is a Super Bowl winning coach. There's a reason why the Saints were always a threat. Even that last year when Breeze couldn't even throw no more.
Yeah.
They were still a threat because he is such an intelligent, forward-thinking like leader of men of a football team. And so absolutely. And that was the thing that everybody was saying anyway.
Yeah.
He needed to lose his office. He needed to lose his parking spot.
Yeah.
This isn't about you, Russell Wilson. This is about this fucking team.
And he picked Sean. He gave the go-ahead for Sean Payton. So hopefully he's ready to take that on. And I hope LUKA DONCIC is ready to play with Kyrie Irving. And I'll leave you with his tweet as we wrap up here. LUKA DONCIC after his road trip with Kyrie Irving.
Rocha, last question in prep for the Super Bowl. One surprise artist you think will end up on stage with Rihanna?
With Rihanna?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, good question. Shit. Drake. Is he scheduled to be there?
Drake.
You think is he scheduled to be there?
I don't know.
He's got two of my favorite songs with Rihanna. So
what's my name and which one? Which
I love Work when he chimes in on Work.
Oh yeah, Work. Yeah.
Take Care?
Done from Work, come over.
Yeah, they're not going to do Take Care because Take Care is kind of a downer song, but
that's also his song.
Well, fair.
She's on it, but I think. Okay, you know what's funny,
dude? He better show up for Work. I'm just
had Kanye not been a dumbass, I think that he would have been an incredible addition because you got all of the lights, you got so much shit that they've collabed on together. If I had to guess for Rihanna, I think she brings up, maybe Jay-Z.
Could see that.
I could potentially see a Jay-Z, maybe. I could see an Eminem maybe if he decides he wants to do it again, but I doubt it.
Sure.
I'm trying to think who else she could potentially bring.
Jay-Z with Umbrella is possible for sure. Eminem, with The Way You Lie, sure. But I don't know. The Way You Lie doesn't seem like a song for the Super Bowl. Umbrella,
but Monster though. I could see them doing Monster. I'm friends with the monster that's under my bed. Like that whole,
Sure. So, all right, we'll see what happens if Winston's right or I'm right about the game and about Rihanna. Maybe we're both right about Rihanna. Maybe they both show up. That'll be a lot of fun. All right, y'all are incredible. Thanks so much for joining us live for this episode of Game Time. And Winston, always a fun show with you. Thanks for putting up with my technical issues. Please let people know where they can find you, brother.
Absolutely. You can find me at the Swaggy Blurred on all platforms. We've got the rewatch review of the first season of Bel Air with Matt Thomas coming out very soon. I want to say like early next week in anticipation for season 2, which is dropping. And then we will have that up every week. I am very excited about a new project that's coming on my channel. I don't want to talk about it quite yet because I want to iron down some stuff before we do it. And then some more comedy stuff happening on both my YouTube and my TikTok. So definitely check that out. And then obviously Capes and Cows every Friday over on the Christian Harloff channel.
Do you have a new SVU one set up yet or no?
I've been debating what I'm going to do because I had a lot of family stuff going on. And so there's a chunk of the season I missed.
Yeah,
obviously.
Dick Wolf would be very mad at you right now. I don't think.
The amount of random hiatuses SVU takes sometimes kiss my ass. So either way, I will be having both a pre and post Super Bowl SVU coming out for sure. I just, there's it's man.
It's got to deal with the refs, I feel like, but
yeah.
All right. As for me, real quick, you can find me at the Rocha Says. Y'all know that on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, the Outlaw Nation on Twitch. And please subscribe to the channel. We're getting closer to that 1,000 subscribers. We're at 400 something right now. So please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. There's going to be a lot of sports content coming up here now that, kind of the movie stuff has slowed down a little bit. I know February we got to Quantum Mania and all that, but I'm doing much more here on the sports channel. So subscribe to the channel as well and hit that bell button. And that's it. Y'all take care of yourselves. Be well. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Come back and join us on Monday as we break it all down for you on Game Time. Peace. Have a good week.